thank you in support for you guys coming out and supporting why we're really here. And the reason why we are here today is for two primary reasons. Number one, flood compensation for the flood of 2011. Secondly, the other reason why we're here is we're here because we want the government to respond to the dialogue that we need in what they're doing with flood mitigation on Lake Manitoba and Lake St. Martin. It's taken Kevin Yuill and Joe Johnson to come out and make a stand to get their attention, which, by the way, was extremely peaceful. It was democratic. It was all of the above. Mr. Ashton embarrassed himself. Absolutely. He needs to step down. He can't handle his portfolio. He can't. Now, what I would like to say to him is that you cannot run a dictatorial type of leadership in a democratic country. So step down. I would also like to say that the people here today are not going away. We will not take any no for an answer.
All of us are in this together. All of us. Many of you took the brunt of that water to protect your friends and neighbors who live in the city of Winnipeg, didn't you? Yeah. When that water got sent up your way without thought as to where it was going to go after, it was evidence that the government didn't have a plan, I think. And I believe that we all understand that the long term is best served by having an outlet out the north end of Lake Manitoba, for example. Would you agree with that? These aren't new ideas. These aren't new proposals. They're old proposals. And the government had the money, and they had the reports, over 50 reports analyzing what they could have done, and they did nothing. And now they blame you. They're blaming you. They're saying you're criminals. They're claiming that you're the problem when they're the problem. They are the problem. Good for you for being here today and standing up for your rights.
The only thing that we're guilty of is criticism of this government and standing up for ourselves. This government must come to its senses. And I would like to make this statement that the citizens of Lake Manitoba no longer can afford to bankroll the flood-proofing of other areas of this province. The only solution is an adequate drain where outflow would equal inflow. Until that happens, the people of this province will be on the hook for compensation of losses.
The government's caught in a tough position here. In 2011, it was an unbelievable amount of water that came down the river. But the fact was, it would have cost a hell of a lot more if it went to Winnipeg. They made the choice to send it to Lake Manitoba, and that money came out of our pocket. For the good of the community, they had to make that choice. But now for the good of the province, they have to correct what was done, pay us fairly, and get a channel out of this lake. That's a necessity. It'll cost a hell of a lot less than if this ever happens again.
Fixing up the Portage diversion, as Kevin Yuill has talked about, is an important piece of what needs to be done. We need to do that as well as fixing up the other parts. There is now much better flood protection along the Red River. We have to do that flood protection in an equivalent way along the Assiniboine River and including protecting adequately Lake Manitoba and Lake St. Martin. But there's